Hello guys, and welcome to Till Vacuum Do Us Part. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. Today we are talking about the style organic modern. I feel like it's trending right now. I feel like everyone's talking about it, but I feel like the way it's being shown is so out of reach. It's so out of touch, but I'm here to tell you it can be done on a budget. I do feel like I'm an expert in this. I've been decorating my home this way for several years, and I do feel like I started before it was a thing. Like even before it was organic modern, I was longing for it. I just didn't know what it was called. But I've been a neutral girl for a while. I've loved all the elements of it. It's just the name brought it together. And I do want to tell you it can be done on multiple budgets. So if you want to know what it is and how you can do it on any budget, make sure you're subscribed, and let's jump straight into today's video. I promise you these are gonna be the easiest tips. Like once you hear them, it's just so doable. So doable. Now I do want to start off, like when you see Pinterest, like if you type in, like search in like organic modern, it's over the top, like stunning, beautiful. If we had $1 million budgets, all of our houses would look that way. I mean, you could take any style, and if you had that amount of money, it would look gorgeous. But we're talking about like real life on a budget, on several different budgets. Like my budget looks different than your budget, and I want you guys to know I'm talking like Walmart, Ross, Home Goods, stuff like that. You can pull this look off. It doesn't have to just look like Pinterest, but you can get that same feeling. So that very first tip is gonna be minimal. Less is more. So this is so easy. This is just decluttering your home. This is also gonna help with all the rest of the tips because you can declutter your house. So it's gonna pull stuff out. You can sell those, so you kind of have a budget to work with if you need pieces to add back in. This is so easy. Maybe you don't need them. Maybe you're gonna have enough to work with. We'll go over the elements you need to keep because you may add those back in. But a lot of the stuff you're just gonna sell. You can donate too if you don't wanna deal with the hassle of it, if you have enough money to do a little bit of decorating and switching out. But if you don't, take those items. Not only is it gonna declutter your house, which is gonna make you feel better, not only is it gonna get you the look you're trying to achieve, but it's gonna help you with your budget. Maybe you already have a budget. It's going to help fluff it a little bit more, so maybe you can get that extra piece you weren't expecting to afford, and you can add to it. So when you look at these organic homes, even the Pinterest ones, they're just minimal. They're very less is more. There's no clutter. There's very clean lines. It's very simple. You guys, it's very calming, and I know that's why I love it. So this one's very easy if you like that. Like they're easy to clean, they're easy to maintain. They typically have a lot of white walls, which we'll talk about that later with lighting, but they are just simple and less. So if you need to do a major declutter, this is the time to do that. Okay, and so tip number 2, kind of going along with that, is no color. So when you are decluttering, keep that in mind. You're gonna start pulling all that color out. Now, with anything I'm telling you guys, this is your style, so you can break any rule you want to. I'm just giving you a baseline. If you want to add a color or pop a color into it, go for it. Is it the organic modern style? No. Like, is there normally a pop of color in it? No. But if you want to do that, go for it. I will say normally you do see like greens. Maybe you have a green plant or what's going on outside. So in fall, you may see more orange colors. Basically, what I like to do with my stems is whatever is going on outside, you can bring inside. So if you have all those like orangey, yellows, all of that going on, that can come inside. If it's yellows, if it's greens, whatever is going on outside can come inside during that season, and that gives you a little bit of flexibility. And like I mentioned before, there is a lot of white. Normally you have a lot of like clean white walls, white curtains. There's a lot of that going on. To bring some warmth, there normally is some wood, which we'll talk about that later. I've learned with the black, you have to be very, very careful. So when I'm talking about blacks, this is what I'm trying to explain. See how it's black? You can almost say charcoal, but it's just like a muted black. When I have like a solid black vase in here, it just doesn't look right. Once again, I talked about these vases earlier. They're just a little bit muted and it looks so much better. So like I said, I've done this style for a long time and I've made all the mistakes along the way. So I'm trying to help you guys so you can save your money so you don't buy the wrong piece and regret it. Because I bought so many things and I'm like, this should fit it. Like, why is it not working? It's the shape, it's the style, like what is wrong? And I've learned you really need like a muted, like it can be a black, but like a muted. So like not even a charcoal, it can be a black, but a very faded black. But when I do too dark of a black, it just goes more modern, like too modern. It goes more contemporary. Now I will say like my windows are solid black, but they're such a small piece. It doesn't do much, but if you're gonna have a big pot or something like that, I highly suggest just make sure it's got like a worn finish on it. It's a little bit faded. I almost want to say a little bit rustic, but just be careful with that word unless you're wanting a rustic flair in your like organic modern style, but definitely just don't have anything too glossy. You definitely don't want anything glossy with the organic modern style. Now I do have a solid black piece. I do want to mention it is in here and it looks good, but when I decorate, once again, it's that muted. So there's something about like furniture, the dark black's okay, but if you're gonna be doing those pots or vases, in my opinion, stick with the muted. Another thing you're really not gonna see is any like bolded prints. You may see some subtle prints, like in my bed, it's like a tan, but it does have a subtle, like, I almost wanna say more of a texture, but it is a small pattern or bench or something like that. But you definitely wanna lean towards texture and less pattern. Now, when I'm saying texture, it can be in so many things. It can be in hand towels, it can be in towels. These are just from Target. It can be in throw blankets, and this one's from Target. It can be in like TV stands. This I think is from Wayfair. These baskets is another great way, and they are from either Home Goods or Ross. I have 2 sets from both places. Fluting is another gorgeous way right now to add texture. If I could flute my entire house, I think I would. I've been obsessed with it lately. And of course, pillows are always a great way to add texture, and these are from Amazon. So even if it's a neutral pattern, you don't want a bold pattern pillow. You don't want that in a blanket. You don't want that in a bed or a headboard. You do want texture. So it's kind of just picking those two out, and you do need texture. So in our very first house, I always mention this, like I was not on YouTube. I did not know YouTube existed. I did not know I'd be working on YouTube. So I first had it in like Tiffany blue. I had Tiffany blue curtains and Tiffany blue pillows, and I was inspired by a friend. I could not figure out in her house why it was so calming and why I loved it. And I finally looked at her and I was like, what is so different about your house? I just love it. And she was like, there's no color. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went home, and the next day I ripped everything out. Chase came home from work and he was like, what is going on? And I was like, I want to get rid of all the color. And guys, this is like, I don't know, like probably 12, 13 years ago, like a long time ago. And at first it was too much. Like I did not have any texture in my house. Like I just had white, like just plain white or plain tan. There was no texture, there was no elements, there was nothing to it. And it was so boring. Like then I was like, whoa, 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 what did I do wrong? What do I need to do to fix this? How do I change this? So I've really learned, if you're not gonna have pattern, if you're not gonna have color, if you're not gonna have those things, you have to find a way to like add interest. And we're going to do that through lots and lots and lots of texture. And then a very obvious one, what we're gonna do is add in organic pieces. So we're gonna add in some marble pieces. We're gonna add in some, I even like to add in like wicker, like baskets. I feel like those are very easy to find. This is where you can add in your wood pieces, anything like that. Concrete you can add in. This is where like I love to go to Home Goods. You do not have to order from any expensive store. Now, obviously you can find these anywhere and you can spend a ton of money, but if you will go into Ross, Home Goods, Walmart, Target, places like that, you're going to find these pieces. And then we're gonna go back to the element of less is more. So you don't need to buy a ton of these. I'd rather you buy one big bowl that's beautiful than buy 7 pieces. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. You may spend a smidgen more on like a $30 bowl versus like tons of $5 knickknacks. So keep that in mind. You want a few statement pieces that pack a punch, that make a statement. So you have like that one beautiful bowl on your coffee table or on your kitchen countertop. So you want like statement pieces, but you don't have to have several of them. So this is where some people think like, oh, I can't afford this style because that's too expensive. It's not. So go to those stores and you can find great, great, great deals. And just remember, you don't need as many items as you think. I really like finding unique, one-of-a-kind pieces from Home Goods and thinking outside the box. Like this is a planter. Love, love, love this design. It's so cool. I'm using it in a different way. And it was only, look, I left the tag on, $17. So see what I mean? It's a statement piece, but it was 17 bucks. So when I say you can do it on a budget, you can do it on a budget. This is another piece from them as well. It's just super oversized. This comes from them as well, like the moss, and it just makes a huge statement. So I only have 2 pieces in here. This is from Ross and it's like $7.99. I've had that thing for years. So technically I have like 3 things and that completed the space. So you do not have to spend a ton of money. I wanted to show you, so I have proof and it's actually $6.99. I've had this so long. It's a heavy piece of marble. We use it as like a cutting board and to keep like our spatulas when we like have them in different pots cooking. And I love this piece and it's literally $6.99. Paper towel stand, Ross, $7.99. You guys get to Ross, I'm telling you, they have the best deals. I do want you to keep in mind, you don't just have to shop cheap stores. Like this greenery is from Pottery Barn, which is normally super expensive. Like I have pieces from them that are like $99. This was originally, I think around $80, but I got it clearanced. I wanna say it was like 23 or 32, but it was a huge piece. I did cut it down. Now, I don't know on camera if you're seeing scale, but it's a really, really large piece. So sometimes you can even get lucky and get a high-end piece and not have to spend a ton of money. So always check clearances. I honestly don't have that much decor. There's not that much out. There's not that much to clean. Like as I dust my house, there's not that much maintaining. And honestly, like now that my style has like been complete, you guys don't see me doing a lot of like itch to switches, a lot of makeovers. It took me a while on this journey to figure out. But as you do, I feel like it's so calming to me to know like I'm done. I don't need to keep searching for that bowl because I have the bowl that I love. Now it may take a while, like you may find a bowl and then eventually find one you like better and you can swap things. But I also feel like this is a good like baseline style. So if you don't know your style, I feel like this is a good place to start because you can add in. So I have a touch of glam with mine. If you guys know, I have a few gold elements. I have like my gold mirror and like some gold lights and my gold hardware. So you can add your own little flair to it. If you want some rustic in it, you can. I do tell you to be careful, like when you're adding wood elements into your organic modern, just be aware, like normally it's like a white oak, it's a light wood and it's not rough. So it's normally something you can run your hand on and you're not gonna get a splinter. Now, if you're wanting some rustic elements in it, if that's more your style, you're welcome to do that, but you're not gonna see like a farmhouse sign in this style. You guys know what I mean? So it's just knowing like what you want, what your little flair is gonna be with it, and then bringing it all together. But it really is easy to do if you just start with those basic steps and then finishing it off with whatever your little pop is. Because I feel like we all have our own thing. And I never want you to think like you have to live by these steps. Like rules are made to be broken. These are all just like the baseline. So you kind of get the idea of what the style is, and then you kind of create your own little recipe for it. Another really important element I feel like is natural light. And there are a few ways to get this. So obviously the first one is windows. So if you can get your windows open, I feel like white curtains are really important important. Get them up to the ceiling. We talk about that in a lot of our videos. If you have blinds, maybe just removing those. If you need the privacy, maybe just like opening them up all the way during the day or while you're hosting, but definitely being able to see out, getting that light in, things like that, if you guys know what I mean. Now I know a lot of us don't have a ton of windows, like maybe you're working from an older house. I feel like white paint is huge. If you have the money to grab a can of white paint and you can paint the space, that is going to brighten it up a ton. If that's out of reach, daylight light bulbs are a game changer. If you can do all three, even better, but daylight bulbs are huge. It's going to make it feel like the daylight you've brought in. So if you're working with a really dark space and you're like, I do want a bright space, I do want to make it feel bright and airy, I hate the dungeon feel, I've always had it, what can I do? White paint and daylight bulbs. If you can do both, even better. If you can only do one, do the light bulbs. It's probably the more affordable, easy option, and I'm telling you, it's going to definitely brighten up your space. In this space, I do want to mention, like, these chairs look identical, like identical to the our house chairs, and I found what looks exactly on Amazon for half the price. Now, are they still expensive? I feel like they are still a little pricey, but they still saved me a ton of money. So just depending on your budget, keep in mind there are still good deals. Even if you have the our house budget, shop around first because you may be able to get the same thing for way cheaper. Just a few tips to keep in mind. There are different ways people decorate. So me and my mom decorate completely different. So when she decorates a room, she will just pile everything in a closet. Like, she does not want to decorate anything until she owns everything. Like, she wants a full reveal in one day. And now I will say, when I'm working and I'm producing a video for you guys, sometimes I do have to do that. But like in real life, when I'm working on my living room and spaces, I slowly just start pulling and then I slowly start decorating. I'm like, okay, I need a spot there. I need something there. And so when I'm out shopping, I'm like, okay, I'll switch that out. And I just slowly decorate. Like, okay, I'll pull out the color today. Okay, I'll add this piece in and then see what I need. So you can be like a slow decorator or you can be like a transformer. So definitely just decide what works for you. Both work, both are great. It's just whatever fits your style best. You can also, like, typically my mom's style, I feel like you overbuy and then you can just return when you're done. I feel like mine, sometimes you're just going back to the store a lot because you're trying to find a certain piece, but you don't overbuy. So there's like pros and cons to both. It's just whatever, like I said, fits your style best. But I just wanted you guys to see it's very simple steps. It's just not over decorating. Less is more, keeping things bright, keeping things organic, having a few modern things in there, which is that black and white and clean lines. But like, it's a very simple style to do. And I feel like since it is trending so much, we are seeing it more and more in the discount stores. So when I first started decorating this house, I was buying while we were building it and I could not find white oak stuff anywhere. I could not find like concrete pieces anywhere. Because if you're not building, you can't, like, you're probably not gonna add those floors in, but you can add those pieces in through decor pieces. Like, you can add it in, sorry, George is walking and hitting my camera. You can add it in through different decor elements. So you're not like ripping out floors and ripping out tiles. You can add it in other ways. And like I said, when I was building, it just wasn't out yet. And if it was, you were overpaying. Now we're seeing it like trickle down into Target, into Ross, into Home Goods. And so you can just bring those elements in and it is more affordable and you can do it on a budget. So I just wanted to share those tips with you. You guys see me decorate a lot. And if you wanted to see my thinking process, I'm also decorating the barn, the farm, whatever we're calling it over there. And of course, my style is organic, modern. It may have a little bit of a rustic flair over there, but that's my thinking process as I'm decorating that place as well. So I just wanted to share those tips with you. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to leave them down below in the description box. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week and I will see you in the next one. Bye.